For years, Poland was viewed through the lens of its tumultuous past, a nation overshadowed by the weight of communism and renowned more for its struggles than strengths. But times are changing, and rapidly so. In just 3 decades, Poland has rewritten its story. Predictions even suggest that by 2030, Poland's economy could surpass that of the United Kingdom. But it isn't just about economics. Its military prowess is intensifying, and its international influence is growing stronger. At a glance, this transformation may appear to be a modern-day miracle. Yet, as we delve deeper into Poland's journey, we're compelled to ask, can Poland sustain its trajectory towards becoming Europe's next superpower? Or will internal divisions, reminiscent of its turbulent past, halt its impressive momentum? Welcome to Living History. To truly grasp why Poland's modern ascent is so astonishing, we must dive into its tumultuous past. In the 20th century, Poland bore the brunt of global conflict, being the first nation to face the Nazi onslaught. By the end of World War II, a staggering 20% of its population had been wiped out. From these ashes, Poland didn't immediately rise like a phoenix. Instead, it got ensnared in the Eastern Bloc's web, becoming a Soviet satellite state. For 4 long decades, Poland was engulfed in an era marked by economic despair, stagnation, and a prevailing sense of desolation. The Soviet stranglehold forced upon Poland a centrally planned economic model, where the state was the omnipotent owner, and private enterprises were but a mirage. Dancing to the tunes of Moscow, Poland's economy often operated counterintuitively, having to trade, purchase, or sell based on Soviet directives, rather than its own economic rationale. By the time the communist chains were shattered in 1989, Poland emerged, blinking into the sun from behind the Iron Curtain. It was a nation on its knees. Infrastructure was in shambles, and public services dysfunctional. Economically, Poland was in dire straits. Average incomes were a mere tenth of those in Germany, and the nation grappled with soaring hyperinflation. From this bleak starting point, predicting Poland's meteoric rise would have seemed delusional. Yet fast forward 3 decades, and the nation stands as a testament to resilience, transformation, and sheer determination. So how did Poland pull it off? If we rewind to the early 90s, Poland was grappling with the challenge faced by all post-communist nations, transitioning from a centralized, state-controlled economy to a capitalist one. While many nations dawdled or got entangled in corruption during this metamorphosis, Poland emerged with a distinctive edge. They adopted capitalism swiftly, but chose a slower, more measured pace for privatizing state-owned entities. This paced privatization meant that, unlike many of its peers, Poland wasn't dominated by a few oligarchs who amassed wealth through political connections. It's an underemphasized fact that Poland, with this strategy, averted an economic crash that many of its neighbors faced in the 90s. But a smooth transition wasn't the only ace up Poland's sleeve. The early 2000s ushered in an era of globalization for Poland, culminating in its accession to the European Union in 2004. This wasn't just about being part of a club. It was about embracing open markets, allowing the free flow of goods, services, and ideas. Suddenly, Poland wasn't just a country on the map. It was a dynamic marketplace in a unified European economic landscape. Western European companies, seeing an opportunity, began relocating their manufacturing bases to Poland. Sure, it was the low-cost workforce that initially drew them, but that's only half the story. Joining the EU brought Poland more than just business. It brought infrastructure, education, and development funds. And Poland didn't just use these funds, it optimized them, channeling investments into everything from roads to research institutions. Yet herein lay another challenge. Countries relying heavily on offering low-cost labor to foreign companies often hit a plateau, commonly referred to as the middle-income trap. But Poland, with its forward-thinking approach, sidestepped this predicament too. A decade and a half ago, global companies saw Poland as a hub for low-skilled, inexpensive labor. Today, they recognize it as home to some of Europe's most robust engineering and technical talents. This shift wasn't serendipitous. It was the result of years of concerted focus on education and innovation. Today's Poland is no longer just a place where goods are made. It's where ideas are born. Tech giants aren't just opening warehouses. They're establishing research and development hubs. But why? The answer lies in Poland's educational evolution. Over the years, Poland's education system, supported by EU funds and its own national priorities, has metamorphosed, churning out a workforce that's not just skilled, but innovative. While Poland's current economic status might still lag behind some Western European counterparts, it's the trajectory that's noteworthy. The growth isn't just in numbers, it's holistic. Wages have surged, yet inequality remains commendably low. It's not just about wealth accumulating at the top, it's about prosperity that's widespread and touches the many, not just the few. Now, the economy is not the only area where Poland has demonstrated resilience and ambition. Let's pivot our focus to the realm of military might. Poland's strategic position, nestled between powerful nations like Russia and Germany, has often rendered it vulnerable to the whims of larger powers. This has historically made a strong defense not just a priority, but a necessity. The scars of World War II, particularly the chilling memory of betrayal by its allies, Britain and France in 1939, still resonate in the Polish national psyche. This, coupled with the haunting recollections of the three notorious partitions in the late 18th century, carried out by Russia, Prussia, and Austria, has only intensified Poland's innate sense of vulnerability. These historical wounds have shaped its modern-day defense policies and decisions. Fast forward to the turn of the century. Joining NATO in 1999 was a significant milestone for Poland, signaling a pivot from communism to democracy and the embrace of new alliances. However, this also spotlighted the stark realities of their military's state: outdated, rooted in the Soviet era, and lagging behind NATO's sophisticated standards. The early 2000s marked a slow but crucial phase of military modernization, transforming a defense force that primarily consisted of aging MiG-29 and Su-22 fighters, and Soviet-designed tanks and artillery that were on the verge of obsolescence. But a real shift in momentum came post-2014, in the wake of Russia's annexation of Crimea. Recognizing the urgency of the situation and the evolving security dynamics of Europe, Poland ramped up its defense strategy. Defense spending surged to 3% of its GDP by 2023, making it one of the highest defense spenders in NATO and the world, and is on track to reach an impressive 5% by 2030. The nation even showcased its support for Ukraine by donating ex-Soviet equipment, striking a balance between aiding an ally and updating its own arsenal. Collaborations with the US have strengthened its defense backbone, highlighted by the establishment of the US Army Garrison Poland in 2023. On the other hand, alliances with South Korea have been predominantly economic and technological, resulting in significant defense acquisitions, such as the ordering of 180 K2 Black Panther tanks in August 2022 for $3.37 billion. If you want to know more about Poland's recent military buildup, please check out our video on the topic, which we will link at the end. Now, we know Poland made it so far, but amidst the applause, it's vital we also discuss the risks lurking in its shadows. While growth charts have shown an upward trajectory, Poland still grapples with the middle-income trap, with a colossal dependency on foreign investments. Sure, Warsaw's skyline now features tech centers and banks, but these glitzy offices belong more to foreign companies than to homegrown Polish giants. This poses a ceiling to their growth, as major profits fly out to international shores. For Poland to truly soar, it must nurture its indigenous corporate heroes. But the most profound risk is more intangible and deeply rooted. Poland is, in essence, a tapestry of two distinct threads. On one side, we have the liberals, modern and progressive. On the other, the conservatives, deeply tied to tradition and religion. This dichotomy, similar to what we witness in the US, is becoming increasingly polarized. Both factions grow wary, their tolerance thinning, their willingness to compromise evaporating. As this internal tug-of-war continues, Poland's tiff with the European Union is also amplified. The EU's threats to cut off funds due to lapses in upholding the rule of law by the current ruling PIS, Law and Order Party, only add fuel to this simmering tension. This divergence and external pressure place Poland at a crossroads. To truly capitalize on its historical resilience and potential, Poland requires both its liberal and conservative populace to unite under a shared vision. The echoes of its past teach us that unity and adaptability have been its strengths. If Poland sticks too hard to just one way of thinking or pushes away big friends like the EU, it would stifle its incredible progress and bring the Polish miracle tumbling down. This is living history signing out.